Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dismantle a fear that, let's be honest, almost all of us quietly harbor as we get a bit older. It's that creeping fear of our minds slowing down, of aging, and of slowly fading away. But what if I told you that maintaining a totally sharp, vibrant mind doesn't actually require endless hours of exhausting cognitive training? You don't need to do complex brain puzzles until your eyes cross. What we're looking at today is a fascinating dive into the daily lives of people in their 60s and 70s whose brains are functioning as if they were literally 10 years younger. We're going to discover 7 simple, scientifically backed, and honestly, pretty hidden habits that keep their minds incredibly young. Okay, let's dive into this by picturing a universally terrifying moment. You're standing right in the middle of your kitchen. Your hand is resting on the handle of the refrigerator door, and suddenly, you completely freeze. You think, wait, why did I just open this fridge? You stand there for a second, and this quiet, heady thought creeps into your head. Well, I'm just getting old. It's all downhill from here. It is a moment of pure dread, right? We've all been there. But what if that brief moment of forgetfulness isn't actually an accurate measure of your brain's true age at all? You see, it's so incredibly easy to fall into that despairing assumption on the left. The idea that memory loss is just this inevitable, uncontrollable slide into old age. But the empowering truth, the one on the right, is what the research actually shows us. There are people well into their 60s and 70s who have lively, active brains that function as if they were still in their 50s. And honestly, the best part? These people aren't aggressively forcing themselves to work out their brains. They aren't stressed out about maintaining their mental agility. Instead, what we find is that these individuals naturally and effortlessly practice 7 subtle, incredibly low-effort psychological habits in their daily lives. We're talking about tiny, tiny adjustments to how they interact with the world and with themselves. And the absolute most surprising part of this entire explainer is this. As you go through these 7 habits, you're probably going to realize that you're already doing some of them every single day. The key here isn't to add a bunch of stressful new tasks to your life, but to recognize and really celebrate the healthy habits you already possess. Habit number 1, embracing small daily firsts. Let's start our journey through the day with this very first habit. It's basically all about opening yourself up to the outside world by flat out refusing to live exactly the same day twice. Think about it. When we repeat the exact same routines, walking the same route, eating the exact same food, looking at the same scenery, our brains basically just fall half asleep. They don't need to work, so they just kind of switch off. But tiny firsts, they act as a wake-up call. Just deciding to turn left instead of your usual right on a morning walk can lead you to notice a beautiful old cafe sign you've literally never seen before. Or, when you're at the supermarket, simply tossing an unfamiliar vegetable into your cart and wondering, how should I cook this tonight? That tiny spark of discovery, that little, oh, what's this moment, is an absolute feast for your brain. It literally forces the brain to open a new door. Habit number 2, engaging your inner engine. Transitioning from the external world to our internal state, this habit is all about diving deeply into what you love. And this brilliantly illustrates a concept discovered by a psychologist, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He called it flow. He observed artists and rock climbers who would get so intensely absorbed in their activities that they would completely forget to eat, forget they were even tired, and totally lose all track of time. So whether your passion is knitting, writing haiku, taking photographs, or getting your hands dirty in the garden, when your mind and body merge into that smooth, flowing state without hitting any internal resistance, your brain becomes incredibly active and remarkably healthy. Now, as we get older and our roles in our careers or families begin to shift around a bit, we often find ourselves with a lot more alone time. A lot of people fear this. They view it as loneliness or just an emptiness. But this quote reframes it absolutely perfectly. Solitude isn't an empty void you have to frantically fill with noise. When you have even one single thing you are deeply passionate about, alone time becomes this rich, uninterrupted inner world where you can dive deep and where your brain just quietly rejoices in the silence. Which brings us to the third habit, and this one is all about how we react to the unfamiliar. Imagine a grandchild tries to show you a brand new feature on a smartphone, or a neighbor suggests a restaurant you've never heard of. A tired brain immediately throws up the defenses on the left. It's impossible, it's too hard, I'm just too old for this. The second you say that, your brain hits the brakes. But a young brain, it uses the phrase on the right, that looks interesting. Saying that looks interesting is literally the engine key for your curiosity. You don't even have to be good at the new thing. Just the feeling of curiosity itself is the nutrition that keeps your brain young. Habit number 4, the slope that trains brains. As we move into our midday habits and navigate our modern, highly convenient world, we run into a fascinating concept from the study of learning called desirable difficulty. Look, today we can get an answer on our phones in roughly 3 seconds, but relying entirely on that convenience means we kind of stop thinking for ourselves. Desirable difficulty means that when a task requires just a little bit of effort, like, say, calculating your change in your head before looking at the receipt, or visualizing the route to your destination before turning on the GPS, that slight struggle actually makes your memory stick deeply. Think of it exactly like walking. If you only ever walk on perfectly flat, smooth roads, your muscles weaken. But a small inconvenience is like a gentle slope. It naturally trains your brain without you even realizing you're doing a workout. The fifth habit deals with something literally none of us can avoid: making mistakes and forgetting things. Remember that terrifying moment at the fridge we talked about? Yeah, you can't eliminate those moments entirely. But you absolutely can choose your reaction. You can despair, grip the mistake tightly, and let it completely pull your mood down for the day. Or you can do what people with younger brains do. You can just laugh it off. You can say, "Oops, I did it again." Well, there's another good story to tell. Laughing gracefully switches your brain's state. It releases all that physical and mental tension that fear creates. I absolutely love this metaphor right here. Forgetfulness is just a little dust on the shoulder. If you simply acknowledge it and casually brush it off, it catches the wind and flies away harmlessly. No big deal. But if you panic, if you grip that dust with fear and obsess over it, it eventually turns into this heavy, exhausting burden. Being able to gently laugh at your own minor slip-ups is undeniable proof that your mind is still young and resilient. And once you learn to be gentle with your own mistakes, this really wonderful thing happens. You naturally become more open and curious about other people. And this is the sixth habit. It isn't just about exchanging pleasantries. It's about asking genuine, small questions. Asking the grocer how they recommend cooking a specific vegetable. Asking your grandchild what's super exciting in their world right now. Or asking a neighbor for a good recommendation. When you sincerely listen and imagine the stories other people are telling you, you're actively firing up and stimulating the memory centers of your brain. Curiosity about others is a hugely powerful cognitive workout. The seventh habit. The final bedtime habit. Now we've reached the climax of our daily journey together, the absolute most impactful habit of the entire bunch. And it happens right at the end of your day, literally just before you go to sleep. Now, what's really interesting about this is the pure simplicity of this psychological exercise. It was developed by Martin Seligman, and it's called 3 Good Things. After a long day, even a day where maybe things went wrong or someone's words kind of hurt you, people with youthful brains purposefully scan their day to find just a few tiny positive moments. The routine itself is incredibly comforting. Step 1, you lie in bed, staring up at the ceiling. Step 2, you deliberately recall 3 small good things. I learned something new today. That sunset was surprisingly beautiful. The cashier at the grocery store was really kind to me. Finding these moments is exactly like walking along a beach at the end of the day and picking up 3 shiny seashells. If you do this every single night, you slowly build a massive collection of light. And when you wake up the next morning, your brain is already primed with optimism, wondering, what interesting things am I going to find today? Letting go of fear. As we bring this explainer to a close, we have to confront that quiet terror we sometimes feel late at night. That deep-seated fear that getting older means we're slowly losing our use, fading out, and just being left behind by a really fast-paced world. But I want you to internalize this deeply, deeply comforting truth. Because you walked a different route today, because you lost track of time doing something you love, because you laughed when you forgot your keys, you are not fading. These habits are absolute, undeniable proof that you are still curious. They are proof that your brain is actively engaging with the world. You are fully alive, and you are right here. So the crucial point is this: aging isn't an obligation. It's not a heavy burden you just have to carry. It is just a continuous, quiet series of small daily discoveries. Look back over these 7 habits we discussed today. Which of these are you already doing without even realizing it? Acknowledge them, celebrate them, and allow them to keep your mind vibrant and your spirit remarkably young. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope you find a few more shiny seashells in your day today.